Hey yo, good morning. This is Dash. We're gonna be using Charlotte today. I'm gonna be taking care of something I've never done before. I'm gonna be using some spare ribs. Yes, I know. No, I've never done spare ribs. I always do baby backs. Get off my back. Alright, so I need to clean up Charlotte so we can get the cooking, and then I'll go ahead and get my ribs prepared. So let me get this cleaned up. I'll be right back. So I've had people ask me what I do or how I keep my grills clean. I just use a simple glass cleaner. One, because it actually really does cut grease very well, and two, because it doesn't stay on the surface very long. It doesn't leave residue at all. Hey yo, this is Dash. Get ready. Alright, so for today I'm going to be using Charlotte the Weber kettle, and I'm going to be using the slow and sear to get this cooked done. This is the slow and sear. This part of the slow and sear takes charcoal. This part of the slow and sear is where you actually put water in the slow and sear. Now, this charcoal that I have left over from my last cook, waste not, want not, I'm actually going to get it into the back of the slow and sear. And then I'll get some fresh charcoal put on top. Alright, so hopefully you can see down well enough down in here. And again, this is my slow and sear. This is a slow and sear 2.0. The difference between the first one and the second one is this removable water trough, or this water trough is removable on the second version. So what I'm going to do is get my, if you don't have or use these tumbleweed starters, I highly recommend them. Not affiliated with Royal Oak or anything like that, but these are the absolute best. I'm going to get it down into the corner, and then we're going to get a little bit of charcoal put on top of it. There we go. And the whole thing is, what's going to happen is the charcoal is going to get lit and then light across the trough. Alright, so at this point I'm going to get some water put down in here, then I'll get my food seasoned up. Now today, this is Big Steve's. This is this chicken seasoning. And the reason I'm using chicken on pork is because I ran out of the pork seasoning. So I figured I'd try something different, try something a little new. And herby, and salty. I think it's gonna be pretty good. And this is all I have left. So we're probably gonna finish this out today on these spare ribs. All right, so now I'm back in the kitchen. I have the grill started, or at least it's getting started, and I'm going to trim these ribs up. I'm not really going to do much of anything to these aside from get this little bit of the flap off and get the membrane, the silver skin off of these guys. Now, again, I've never cooked spare ribs, so I really don't know. I mean, this is just going to be an experiment here. Aside from what almost everybody always does as far as trimming this off, squaring this up, I'm not really going to do much anything else. I'm going to leave these the way that they are just to kind of see exactly what we can do with them. All right, so first things first, I'm going to get in here and trim this part out. Now I know better than to just throw this away. We'll find something to do with it a little later for the wife and kids. And then I'm gonna trim this part off here just because it's rather fatty. And yeah, the silver skin is it's a bit tougher on these spares than it is on the baby bags. But we're gonna get after it, we're gonna get it off. Persistence pays off, and I'm sure those of you guys are probably out there cracking up at me doing this, but I've never done it before. So I can tell you that this silver skin here, the membrane, is way thicker than it is on baby backs. Using a paper towel, because again, it's so thick and you don't have any means to grip it. But there, the spares are clean, the spares are done. Move this knife out of the way. Now I'm gonna get this seasoned. All right, so I'm back to season the ribs, and not gonna do anything fancy to these ribs today. Again, I'm gonna be using Big Steve's. This is the chicken and fish seasoning. I ran out of the pork seasoning. I thought I had more of it, but I wanted to use it today. I wanted to use the pork seasoning, but I'm out. So now this is just some olive oil in this aerosolizer. As far as a binder, we're not doing anything crazy. I'm just gonna season these ribs rather liberally, and we're gonna go from there. Yep. Nice even coat. Now I always start with the bottom side, the side that is not going to be presented when you finish, when you're serving these ribs or anything you eat. So that's why I always start with the bottom side when I'm seasoning. We're going to get the around the edges. Dude, Steve, this smells great. And this is Big Steve from Big Steve's Smoke 'em and Choke 'em Barbecue, not to be confused with Uncle Steve. You know, a whole bunch of Steves, just like you Erics are multiplying, the Steves are blowing up as well. So we're gonna get the seasoning pat in, and I can tell you, this smells great. Nice and herby. Oh, I smell some paprika in here. I smell some herbs in here. I'm not mad at this at all. And that binder worked because, as you saw when I flipped the ribs over, not much of that seasoning came off. We're gonna do the same thing on the top side. A little bit of this olive oil binder. And rub that in just to get it tacky. And then we're gonna get the seasoning on. Now we're not going too crazy. I just want to get a nice, even coat of the seasoning on here. Dude, this smells great. And those of you guys who know, who've been watching my channel long enough, I'm actually not going to eat these ribs today. Those of you guys know I don't eat pork, but my wife and my kids will hopefully enjoy these for lunch, just as long as I can get them done in time. So it is almost 8 o'clock, so these ribs are probably going to warm about 8 o'clock. It gives me 4 hours to get them done. I think we can get them done in 4 hours. All right, got these in. These herbs look great. All right, get it. I'm just gonna finish out the bottle. No sense in trying to save it. All right, so I'm back out at the grill, and my slow and sear is getting started. We're almost there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get I have some cherry chips. Now, this is the only time I really recommend you use chips. For most anything else, I'm gonna recommend you use chunks, but I'm gonna sprinkle some chips along the top side of the slow and sear so that it can provide smoke throughout the entire cook. Now I could do this with a couple chunks, but I don't have any chunks. I'm just gonna use some chips, or I could use a piece of this apple I have over here, but I want some cherry. I want to use the cherry. I think the cherry is gonna go good or go well with the herbs that are already on that seasoning, that rub. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna get the cherry chips. I'm just gonna sprinkle them right along the top of this charcoal, so that as the charcoal gets lit, the chips will ignite and we will have some good flavor. Now the reason why I'm putting so many chips in here is because chips don't last at all. And you notice I didn't soak the chips. Soaking chips is a waste of time. Now you see this is the thick white smoke. We don't really want to start cooking on this just yet. I'm gonna let this burn off for a little while before I get my ribs put into the grill. But I can tell you, it smells good. Cherry wood smells good. So now we're ready. It's just about 8:30 and I'm gonna go inside and get the ribs. You see this little bit of smoke? This is what we want. Now from this I can feel a lot of moisture. So I'm feeling that this might primarily be more steam than it is actually smoke, and it is some smoke in there, because if it were just steam I wouldn't be able to still see it when it gets so far away. But I'm gonna go get the ribs and we're gonna get this party started. So I'm actually looking forward to getting these cooked, just because I've never cooked them before. So like I said, I'm gonna go in the house real quick, get the ribs. I'll be right back. Alright, so now that I have the grill open up, we're getting some of these wood chips ignited. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get this rack of ribs on and over, and we're just gonna open it out. And actually get it turned to work with the curvature of the grill. Now with the slow and sear, what's going to happen is this heat and smoke is going to come over this way, so the thicker portion of the meat actually will put on the further side away, because the heat and smoke are going to come up and over the convection effect in this rubber kettle, and it's going to hit this side first. So we'll get this side pretty much done, then we'll get it flipped over once the cook has progressed a little bit. Hurry up, get this covered back up. Now one of the other things you'll notice, I have my vent above where the ribs are, and the reason being is we want the heat and smoke to come out and over top of this ribs, as opposed to just going straight up the top and escaping out of the back of the grill, or in this case we're using it as a smoker, so we'll call it a smoker today. Alright, anyway, I'll be back to check on these in about an hour. Alright, so I am back out at Charlotte. It's been an hour and a half. I figured I would just let these kind of go, and we're showing a temperature on the thermometer here at 300 degrees, but these ribs are looking pretty good. I'm just going to kind of let them go. The moisture level is fine in my slow and sear, in the water trough there. I did get the water, I did get the temperature turned down just a little bit, so that's why we don't have as much steam going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these guys flipped over, just so we can kind of make sure they cook evenly. But they're looking good, still nice and moist. No dry spots or anything like that. I feel like they are starting to, tighten up just a little bit. But I'm gonna let these guys go. But before I do, I want to get you guys down in here so you can see these. You saw those ribs? They're looking pretty good. Again, I'm going to let them go ahead. I'm actually going to open up the vent just a little bit to let some more air out. help get some more air in and help cook progress along just a little bit. But I really want to have these. It is almost 10 o'clock and they have been on for, like I said, an hour and a half. I'm going to check them in another about hour or so and see if they might be ready to wrap up. Once they get wrapped up, I'm going to let them cook for about an hour. Then I might actually, or I will probably get a thermometer out here so I can kind of check the temperature. I really want these ribs about 200 degrees, 195, 200 degrees, and then they'll probably be as tender as I would like them to be, and they'll be done. So I will serve my family lunch. But like I said, I want these done. It's 10 o'clock now. I want these done in 2 hours. So we're gonna kind of kick it up just a little bit. But they're looking good so far, and I'll check on these again in about another hour. All right, guys. So it is just after 11 o'clock, and I'm gonna go ahead and get these ribs wrapped up. Wanting these done at noon, probably not gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my ribs wrapped up. Now, we can see that the water trough is actually almost completely empty, but the ribs are looking really good. So the ribs have a decent color on them, and they still look very moist and are not dried out at all. So at this point, I'm going to take them, get them wrapped up on my brown butcher paper, and we're going to go from there. Alright, so now that I have my ribs wrapped up, I'm going to get them put back on here. Now this is the bone side up, so the meat side is down. But we're going to put these back out here, and we're just going to let them go.
A little later.
So we're back out here at the grill, and it's been, well, it's almost 12:30. So let's see here how these ribs are doing. Now looking at my thermometer here, they're at 195 degrees, or 194 degrees actually. Now what I'm gonna do is get them unwrapped, and I'm just gonna let them set just a little bit. But looking at these things, I think for my first time doing spare ribs, they might have actually turned out pretty darn good. We have some fabulous pullback on these bones here. I'm not gonna let them sit on top of the fire too long. Whew. Wow. I'm not even gonna lie, I am impressed myself. Wow. Alright. I'm gonna get these turned around so I can take some nice pictures of them. But man, they look good. I am impressed. I am thoroughly impressed. I just, wow. All right, I'm gonna let these go for a little while longer, but they look good. They look real good. All right, so a few of you guys might have had a keen eye or a keen ear and heard that the trigger was running in the background of the last clip. But let me show you what I have going on here. So we have some corn in here, whole ear corn. It's that time of year, and I just put it on the trigger, and it's just about done. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the corn in the house first before I get the ribs taken care of. Alright guys, so it is almost 1 o'clock. We're looking at quarter to one, and I just left these sit out here for another few minutes because I knew that the charcoal is dying off, dying down, but I wanted to let these finish before I took them in the house. But let me show you guys these. look at that thing falling apart right there. Now, we're just gonna get it up on this cutting board and get it in the house, get it cut up. I am actually very excited for how these ribs turn out. I am super duper excited for my family to try these. I cannot wait for them to try these ribs. All right, check those out. Alright guys, so I am back inside. You guys saw the ribs. I'm getting ready to cut these things up and get them ready for my family to consume. I'm super duper excited because I've never cooked these before and they look great compared to most everything I've always seen from some of you guys who are out there cooking them yourselves. So I'm gonna get these cut. I guess I will just, we're just gonna get the slicing. All right, taste testers, Mrs. Taste Tester, everybody please join me. All right, come on guys, please help me. All right, you want plates? You want plates?
I'll make this kid.
It's not in your hand next to the plate because the people up here don't get it.
You have a
meeting.
My daddy needs help. It's very important.
Can you stay this way? It's hot.
Tastes like beans.
No, it smells.
Slide over. Someone can get.
Go.
Slide over.
Where's this?
Talking to that one here. This is for you.
Wait, where am I supposed to be? Because you
Just
said
hold
slide
on.
over. And then I slid over.
There you go.
And then you
There
said
you-
slide over here.
I was talking to you. You want to stay right there.
There you go.
All right, so I need some feedback, guys. I need you to tell me what you think, not just
He
devour.
went in for multiple bites,
see.
so I guess it's okay.
It's really juicy. Yeah, it's really good.
All right,
My favorite.
this was good.
I like the seasoning too.
You like the seasoning? Shout out to Big Steve with the seasoning.
Thank you, Big Steve, for the seasoning.
All right.
So you didn't cook this before because, like, you cook a certain type of rib all the time.
So the reason why I've never cooked spares is because they take up a lot of room on the grill. In regards to using the drums, I can fit 3 racks of baby backs on the same rack as it took one of these. These are slabs. So a slab of the spare ribs takes up 3 times as much room as a rack of baby backs. So I always cook baby backs because they were smaller and thinner. You like that though? It's different, I know.
I like it. It's juicy. The meat it's not too overdone. You know how everything falls off, so it's fine.
Just slow down, taste testing number 3. Just wait. You want me to cut it off? You just munching back there. No.
I like it.
I like it. I think I still.
You prefer the baby back?
No. The meat's good.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I would want you to be a little bit more heavy in the seasoning for me.
Okay.
Because I feel like I'm missing a little bit of salt.
Okay.
And that's just what I feel. But
So the reason I didn't go too heavy with the seasoning, 1, is because I didn't have much of the seasoning left. And 2, because this is the first time I used it on these, I just, tried to.
I completely understand. Just, if you were to do this again, I just want a little bit more salt. That is not way, like, I'm on camera.
Dude, was it good?
It was very good while I left.
Do you want me to cut up more? You want me to finish cutting up? Alright, so those of you guys who asked me about size and things like that, just like I said earlier, I prepared some corn today. So the corn is going to be what they're going to have on the side. So, you guys like this? I'm really glad you guys like this. It seemed like the cook went off without much of a hitch. Those of you guys, sorry you can't see me very well. But, thank you guys as always for watching. Roll the outro.
More butter, baby.
Thank you guys again as always for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you like what you saw today, if you learned something, please leave me a comment and a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to turn that notification bell on so you can be notified whenever one of these videos goes live. Speaking of live, I go live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. 2 hours. First hour, we talk about barbecue and or something barbecue business related. Second hour, we kind of shoot the breeze, talk amongst friends. Make sure you bring a cool refreshment with you. Anyway, thanks again as always for watching. I'll see you next time.